Hey, what's going on, guys? Promise here, back. Yeah, I'm back, believe it or not. Back with some more StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty action. It's been some time. It's been quite a long time. Maybe about a month, even 2 months, month and a half, somewhere around there, that I haven't casted a game. Where have I been? What are you doing, Promise? You promised us. I keep saying promise, I'm sorry. Just ignore that. But people have been telling me, you told us you're going to be casting a bunch of Heart of the Swarm replays. You said you're going to be getting some Wings of Liberty games from some of the pro players, blah, 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 all these things and promises, and never happened. Guys, I completely, I sincerely apologize. I've just been super, super busy with school, with a lot of family things. I've been going out, just enjoying the normal part of my life. But I'll be back. I'll be casting a little bit more StarCraft 2 action. It's going to be Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm action. More players are transitioning into Heart of the Swarm, so that's not going to be such a pain in the butt to get replays, hopefully. I'm going to go ahead and cross my fingers on that. But I'll be able to do just do Wings of Liberty games, and when I get the Heart of the Swarm games, we can go ahead and cast those games. But anyway, we have ourselves a Zerg versus Zerg. As I introduce the players, they have spawning in the bottom left side of the map Cloud Kingdom. It's going to be FGMaSsan. I don't really know how to say his name. I think it's Mason or MaSsan. Wow, I just butchered his name. But he's going to be our blue Zerg in the bottom left, and we have spawning in the upper right as our red Zerg player. It's going to be Evil Genius's IdrA, who is, of course, if you guys don't know who this is, you're living in a closet, because he is very public about game balance. He's very public about different broken things that are in pretty much every matchup. But, he's a good player. He is absolutely a very good North American player. Someone who had a little bit of I don't want to call it a slump, but just was not producing as much results as people expected him to do. He's been playing a lot more. Of course, playing on the North American ladder is not the best practice at all. Maybe going to Korea or having some kind of practice on the European ladder would be a good option for people wanting to take their skill to the next level. But regardless, IdrA, whatever it is, he is definitely a very, very good Zerg player. So ZVZ has been an interesting matchup in my opinion. I've been looking at a few replays since I've gotten back into StarCraft 2. It's not really the Ling Baneling all-in war anymore. People still open Banelings to go ahead and have some kind of early defense. You can be aggressive or you can be defensive when playing ZVZ, Ling Baneling versus Ling Baneling. Third expansions are pretty common on this map. It's very easy to go ahead and secure it for both sides. It's the exact same thing on both sides of the map. The thing is, Zerg players love going for a good amount of links to defend it. I have seen Zerg players take quick thirds and they're like, hey man, attack my third. I'm not going to have any units, so you're going to kill my third. That's not how you're supposed to do it. What I've seen is people make a third fairly quickly in the ZVZ matchup. They get a bunch of links to defend it, and if your opponent is still stuck on this 2-base economy, you're going to have an advantage until they take their third, which gives you the opportunity to go ahead and pressure and harass their third. So enough rambling about the third expansions. Let's talk a little bit about the openings. So IdrA went for the gas. He did go for the 15 hatch, followed by the spawning pool. We see a bunch of lings on the map already, both players even in supply. Speed is on its way for IdrA, so everything looking pretty damn standard from the red Zerg player. MaSsan, what is he doing? It looks like he's getting speed as well. It's going to finish a little bit sooner for IdrA. Not a huge deal, unless he decides to go ahead and commit into some kind of ling all-in off of like 15 drones, which is not IdrA-esque at all. But speed's going to finish right now. Hatchery has completed as well. MaSsan already preparing with some defenses, getting a Baneling Nest, getting a Spine Crawler. Queens are in position, so really nice use there by MaSsan, as we see a little bit of a lag spike or some kind of hiccup. But IdrA just going to go ahead and send in some more lings. He's just 18 lings already on the map for IdrA. He's going to try to kill some queens. One queen is going to go down. Second queen goes down for IdrA, and he has actually just marched his way up into the natural of MaSsan. Baneling Nest is going to finish. This is a good amount of damage being done by IdrA, forcing 20 links out of MaSsan. And if you guys notice, this is a lot of harassment being done by IdrA, but what is he doing behind it? He is not committing more to lings. He's making more Banelings, or getting a Baneling Nest, getting some more drones, keeping the lings alive. And just like that, IdrA is going to have a pretty good advantage coming into the later stages of the game. 25 drones compared to the 20 drones of MaSsan, getting a Baneling nest of his own. Now MaSsan can go ahead and do a little bit of counter aggression if he decides to do that, as we see 2 Banelings being morphed. Where are the Banelings? Actually, they're not being morphed. They should be done. But anyway, MaSsan going to go ahead and be a little bit aggressive himself. IdrA, now going to go ahead and get a Spine Crawler. Queens are going to be a little bit vulnerable. MaSsan going around, trying to get this around. It looks like one queen might actually go down. Really nice transfuse by IdrA. Excuse me. I guess one queen not going to go down. So a pretty good defense being done here by Evil Genius's IdrA. IdrA. I'm sorry. I'm going to butcher his name so many times throughout this cast. I'll try to call him IdrA. But, excuse me if I say IdrA or whatever. But so far, tech is just Ling Baneling for both players. Looks like MaSsan going to go ahead and be a little bit more aggressive. Spines, that's what spines are for. Really nice focusing down of the Banelings there by IdrA. MaSsan telling himself, okay, you know what? This is kind of a little bit too all-in-ish for me. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit more economy. Get some Roach Warren, or get a Roach Warren. You don't want to make some Roach Warrens, guys, trust me. Get a Roach Warren, get some more drones. Go ahead and saturate my natural. Maybe even take a third, which is kind of what I'm talking about in ZVZ. But IdrA, not going to let that happen. Already has an Overlord in position, as well as MaSsan. So both players know when they're respectively going to take that third expansion. So tech, what tech do we see in ZVZ? Sometimes it's Roaches, sometimes it's Infestors, sometimes it is Mutas. So far, IdrA is going to be on 2 gases in the natural. He does have a gas at the third, or the main, and the layer is just getting started. Meanwhile, MaSsan has a little bit of a quicker layer. 2 gases in the main, 2 gases in the natural. So would not be surprised at all if MaSsan goes ahead and transitions into Ling Baneling into some kind of Mutalisk play. IdrA is again a guy that does not mind using Mutalisks in ZVZ. The fact that they got this Roach Warren can give them an option to be aggressive, or they can be a little bit defensive if their opponent goes ahead and commits heavily into some kind of Roach Ling aggression. Third expansion has been taken from IdrA. No third taken yet from MaSsan. I can almost guarantee that since MaSsan's going to go ahead and spot this, as we see strictly in his vision, he knows exactly what's going on. Maybe he's going to take a third of his own. Wouldn't that be a bad idea if MaSsan goes ahead, as my voice cracks, goes ahead and takes a third of his own? Not yet, so I guess that's not what we're going to see. But IdrA going to go ahead and get an Infestation Pit, getting some Roaches, getting his Glial Reconstitution, as well as his missile attacks. You can see the Infestation Pits at the natural here for IdrA. And Infestors against Mutas, that's kind of what you want to do. When deciding, do I go Infestors or do I go to Mutalisks? Some players like going Muta against Muta, but the thing that's so important about ZVZ Muta versus Muta is who gets the Mutas out first and who has more Mutas. Obviously, the person that gets them out first is going to have an advantage in terms of how many Mutas he's going to have on the map. So, IdrA going Infestors. MaSsan hasn't really revealed his tech. It seems to be just layer tech with this 3 base and just making Roaches. Units tab so far, 45 drones for MaSsan. 44 drones for IdrA, pretty even supply, almost even supply for both players. 82 supply for MaSsan, 91 supply for IdrA, and both players looking to be a little bit aggressive. More drones in production. MaSsan going to go ahead and move forward right now with a good amount of Roaches, focusing down some Roaches here of IdrA. I think IdrA is going to have enough, or actually MaSsan, looks like he's going to be able to run through the Roaches here of IdrA. IdrA falling down. Well, MaSsan 83 supply, IdrA 89 supply, but let's look at the upgrades. Looks like nothing is done for MaSsan. Looks like +1 attack has finished for IdrA, and this should be able to draw MaSsan a little bit back. Of course, when Roaches against Roaches, you have an upgrade, can't really do much. You got to go back home, get some more Roaches, get your upgrades, and then come back for another day. But so far, I mean, it's just looking pretty even. Both players not going to go Mutalisks at all. In fact, both of them going Infestors. We see Pathogen Glands is going to finish here very, very soon for IdrA. Third expansion, not really saturated for either player. Double gas is being taken here at the third for MaSsan. So, very quick double gases even before he's mining anything at this third. So, interesting decision there. But hold that thought. It looks like IdrA will be able to go ahead and defend a little bit against this aggression being done by MaSsan. Of course, this is just a fantastic, phenomenal position from IdrA to go ahead and just defend. If you're coming up this ramp, you need some vision, and you're not going to have some vision if you don't have an Overlord or an Overseer or anything like that, which gives IdrA a pretty good advantage in positioning over his opponent's units. But Let's look at the production tab. We see Pathogen Glance is going to finish here soon for MaSsan. 5 additional Infestors, 2 Infestors on the map. How many Infestors do each player have? No Infestors yet, so we're going to see a few pop out here for MaSsan as well as IdrA, but 1-0 is still finished from IdrA. Does MaSsan have any upgrades? Okay, so he's going to have +1 attack. So both players very even in terms of upgrades. They're both going Roaches, they're both going Infestors. Hydra Den being added from IdrA, so he's going to go ahead and mix in some Hydras into this composition. But hold that thought, man. Really nice Fungal being thrown down by MaSsan. Going to force IdrA to fall back. Really nice positioning as well. So the Infestors, the fact that they popped out just in the nick of time for MaSsan really gave him an edge to go ahead and get some damage done on the majority of these Roaches from IdrA. So really nice read there from MaSsan. Now, is he going to commit? Is he going to drone? What exactly is he going to do? But IdrA's telling himself, you know what? You're going to fungal my Roaches. I will fungal you back. Battle of the Fungals going on right now. It looks like MaSsan not going to have quite the amount of Roaches that IdrA has right now. Going to focus down some of these Infestors. One Infestor might go down. Looks like one Infestor going down from MaSsan. IdrA finds himself with a supply advantage right now. 131 supply compared to the 118 of his opponent. Another Infestor on the way right now from MaSsan, coming in from multiple angles. Just I don't think he has as many Roaches as IdrA, but I mean, IdrA going to go ahead and run away. Not a bad choice. +2 is finished from IdrA, so he's going to have yet another upgrade advantage. And both players, you know, looking pretty strong. 57 drones for IdrA, 64 drones for MaSsan, 146 supply for the Blue Zerg, 133 supply for IdrA. I was going to say Hydra. He is going Hydras, or he made a Hydralisk then. Okay, yeah. So he is, in fact, going to mix in some Hydras. So he's going to go Roach, Infestor, Hydra. And the thing about Hydras in ZVZ that is, it makes him strong and a really good combination unit is the fact they give out so much DPS with the support of the Roach Infestor army composition. So if IdrA can go ahead and get the right amount of Roaches, mixing in a few Hydras, of course, I don't really see a lot of players go mass Hydras only against a mass Roach Infestor composition. So if he can get the good amount of units, which is, you know, a good amount of Hydras, a lot of Roaches, and a good amount of Infestors, he's going to have an advantage. But MaSsan wants to go ahead and be sumo aggressive, as he's almost going to max out 172 supply compared to the 155. IdrA, you know, still has basically all of his units here towards his third expansion. 7 Hydras in production, getting his Groove Spines, which of course, you know, gives the Hydras the range, which kind of makes them pretty good, or semi-good, I guess you can say. But I mean, both players pretty much sticking to their main composition, Roach Infestor or Roach Hydra. Upgrades +2 is finally finished from MaSsan, so he's not going to be in a pretty huge deficit when it comes to any kind of engagements against IdrA. But 175 supply for IdrA, 196, 4th is on its way. 4th is on its way as well for MaSsan. That's actually going to finish a lot sooner, and this is going to give MaSsan an advantage to go ahead and deny that expansion. He does not want to go up that ramp when you have no vision. IdrA telling himself, okay, you know what, I'm going to split my units, I'm going to get my Fungals down, and that's exactly what he's doing. MaSsan, of course, going to go ahead and split his own units as well. And just think of this, MaSsan is on 4 bases, IdrA is on 3 bases, and the thing that's so beautiful about the Blue Zerg player's play is the fact that he is controlling the map. He has his units split out. IdrA, you know, getting a good amount of Fungals, or really nice Fungals here on top of the high ground on the majority of these Roaches. Wow, that was pretty sick. Man, Infestors are so good. Okay, IdrA's even going to get more Fungals. So a little bit of mistake here from MaSsan, leaving some Roaches, not really doing anything. Hive is on its way, or Hive is getting started right now from IdrA. 13 additional Hydras are going to get started from MaSsan, so he himself is going to go ahead and commit pretty heavily into this Hydra Roach Infestor composition, but IdrA is maxed. 199 supply compared to the 195, so MaSsan is basically maxed as well. It's all going to come down to the engagement. Who has the better army positioning? +2 it's still +2/+2. Okay, so +1/+2 is finished right now for MaSsan, so he definitely has an advantage in that regard, as we see +1 Carapace just getting started right now from IdrA. And IdrA trying to do some damage here towards the 4th expansion, coming in from the back. Really nice positioning here from IdrA, but these infestors might be able to get a fungal. One fungal goes off on a good amount of hydras. Really nicely done there by MaSsan. And at the same time, IdrA telling himself, you know what, bro, you're going to try to, you know, contain the map. I will contain my side and take my fourth. But IdRA's telling himself, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And this is going to be a nice... This is just a really good concave from MaSsan. Huge supply advantage for the blue Zerg. Really bad mistake from IdrA to just move into a great concave by MaSsan, and falling down to 124 supply is going to be IdrA. What can he really do? MaSsan just forces IdrA to leave the game, and that is so unfortunate from IdrA, blah, blah, blah. But it's like... He was maxed, he was taking a fourth, and decides to go ahead and attack into a concave of infestors, roaches, and hydras. That was just, I'm going to just straight up say it, that is not smart play. You do not want to attack, even in this angle at all, into a Zerg spread army with infestors. That's just crazy. So that's basically what lost the game from IdrA. I would say he was even in the favor because his hive was faster. He was down in upgrades, not a huge deal, but his tech was a little bit more superior than MaSsan. But it all came down to that engagement. MaSsan cleaned it up extremely easily and takes the game and takes the win. So that's going to do it for this cast, guys. I will be uploading a lot more Wings of Liberty games in the future, and that's going to do it. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.